My girlfriend received flowers from her ex on her birthday and won't get rid of them. Now she's saying I don't trust her and that I'm too controlling. I, 22M, was on the phone with my girlfriend, 24F, the evening before her birthday. At around 12:30 a.m. on the morning of her birthday, she received flowers, not from me, as I was specifically told by her not to get her flowers on her birthday. After receiving the flowers, she brought them in, asked if I was still on the phone, then said she was going to bed. When I asked who they were from, she said she hadn't read the card yet. Later that day, when we were talking, I brought up how this made me uncomfortable, and she went into how I do not trust her and how that is not okay. When the question of whether she kept the flowers came up, she mentioned she did and has them in a vase and will absolutely not be getting rid of them. What should I do about this? Edit. For clarity, to my understanding, her ex dropped them off, but he was not present when she opened the door and saw them. Her justification for not knowing who they were from was that the note was signed with the initials of a name he used to be called by her sister's friends. After bringing it up, she ended the conversation with something to the extent of, "I want tomorrow to be about me, so if you can't do that, let's wait to talk until the weekend." Ultimately, I decided to put it on hold and let her birthday pass and then deal with it. I sent her a very lengthy and sweet birthday message, around 5 to 6 lines on iMessage, to which I received a simple "thank you." After she replied, I gave her a call and offered to grab her something from her favorite breakfast spot, and I was told that she didn't want it and she was going to go back to sleep. After this, I felt like she did not want to interact with me that day, so I did not push any further. Later, she texted me quite upset that I had not made any effort for her that day. Then at night, we had a FaceTime where I listened to why she felt the way she did, and I apologized for the way things turned out, and attempted to explain why I did what I did. Today, I received a lengthy chain of texts saying how she was talking to her sister and she thinks I'm trying to manipulate her. She basically explained how she felt like I tried to blame her for the way things turned out. I don't want this to be the case. I don't want it to feel like I'm blaming her for anything when I try to talk about why I felt the way I did. I've apologized and acknowledged that I misinterpreted her desires. Even aside from the flower thing, what are some ways to talk to people about your feelings without making it seem like you're blaming them? Update 1. We have had our talk, and I ended things. I approached the breakup from the perspective of not being compatible with our methods of communication. I wanted to keep it as civil as possible as we are part of some small circles in terms of career and friends, so I'd like to maintain a good image. At some points, she tried to take it in the direction of an argument. However, I just made it very clear I was not here to argue or work anything out, and that I felt like we would not be able to handle disagreements well in the future, so it was best to call things off. I appreciate all the comments and replies. I felt the way many of you had iterated terms like manipulated, gaslit, emotionally invalidated, etc., but I tried my best to not bias the updates with those emotions to try to get as neutral of opinions as possible. Honestly, right now I just feel relieved, which I think is very telling. Edit. I did not include this in the original post because I was so emotionally drained at that point and did not feel like typing it out again, but I think the thing that really sealed it beyond belief was how she responded to my last attempt to try and make things better. On the day she spoke to her sister, I responded to the manipulation text with something to the extent of, "I see you and I hear what you are saying. I had no intention of making you feel that way, and I'm sorry that I did." To which she responded that she's sorry that I did too, and that she was going to go nap. Later that day, I texted to ask if she was free, and after 3 hours, she simply wrote, "No, but I could drop some stuff off if I wanted to." At this point, I had been running out while she was not responding and gathering all of her favorite foods and treats along with writing a card. After I gave it to her, I went back and received texts along the lines of, "If you want the pastries, please take them back. I'm so confused. Was this supposed to make anything better? You hardly looked at me." At this point, I was pretty much done and replied with something like, "I know I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to be told I'm not trying when I am, and when I try to do something, I can't have it where only the things I did wrong are acknowledged." At this point, she finally made some attempt to be understanding, saying thank you for the gifts and that she didn't say I wasn't trying. To me, it seemed like I only got that response because it seemed like I was finally done. In any case, it is over now, and time to move on. I don't think she physically cheated, as many in the comments do. However, at this point, I do not care. All I hope is that I better know what to look for next time and find someone that works better for me personally. Thank you to everyone for the advice and for listening to me and my problems. I hope everyone here has a wonderful day. Update 2. Before I get started, yes, I already know I am an idiot and should have never gotten back with this girl. TLDR, about 4 months ago, I made a post about a situation I was in with my now ex involving her getting flowers from an ex, hand-delivered at midnight on her birthday. There were a number of gaslighting and manipulative things that went on, and ultimately I called the relationship off because of that. About a week later, we talked, and she took accountability for everything and apologized. I decided to give her a second chance, but I didn't update my post at the time because I was embarrassed at my lack of self-respect. I wish I had never done this. We are now broken up again, and despite her best efforts, there will be no more chances. She got physical with me, and even I cannot come back after that. Honestly, I am kind of a mess emotionally right now. She hit me with full force in my bed, and I haven't been able to get a good night's sleep since then. I think about the hit every time I go to sleep. We are both PhD students and work in the same building. I don't want to come in for meetings or to work because I fear I might see her. Somehow, this situation is never ending. She told her friends, who I'm also friends with, that she hit me by accident. However, after she hit me, she said she could never forgive me if I did that to her, and sent me a text saying she understands whatever I decide to do and should have never done that, and that she also ruined our relationship. Yet, when it came time to break up that evening, she believed in the 3-strike rule, and was upset that she felt she messed up once and now it's over. This is all really messing with my head. Now all I can think is, what if it was an accident? But her response doesn't line up with that. I feel like I have to prove to my friends that I was abused and that I'm not overreacting. In any case, it just sucks. For those of you out there, if you leave a toxic situation, stay gone. There is nothing to be gained by going back. Also, while I don't think it matters, the reason she hit me goes as follows. We are taking the same course, and I have been consistently scoring lower on assignments with the same solutions. The same thing had been happening to another friend in the class, however, my ex always got full points. We emailed the grader and eventually got our grades corrected, so we were right to be upset and did have the correct solutions. My ex types her solutions up, and I believe that plays a major role in why she always gets more credit, as the solutions are just easier to read. In any case, I had been exploring using large language models to convert my handwritten text to typed text and had some success. I made an attempted joke in bed, saying something along the lines of, now the grader is just gonna look at my typed solutions and give me credit. Then she hit me hard and began yelling about how she works hard too and that I'm diminishing her work. I see how the joke could be taken that way, even though it wasn't my intent. It wasn't until after I apologized and calmed her down that she apologized for hitting me.